Entrepreneurship. I guess you can cultivate it, but it really starts up in your genes. I think you have to have that feeling that I know for myself, ever since I've been quite young, I've always been thinking about how to improve things. So in many, many situations of my daily life, I was always, that should be better made, that should be done this way, or why isn't that happening? You know, why isn't this being better, and how can we improve this to make it easier for people to use, or whatever. That was always my questioning, and when it came up, I studied here at Bishop's in marketing, and I don't know if you still have that course. There used to be a course where we had to create a new product and build a whole business plan. I don't know does that still exist, that course? Anybody took it? Yeah? So you've got stuff being created right now, I guess, in business plans. So this is the stuff I did as well way back when, and really, really loved it. Obviously, when you're in school, it's pretty theoretical, and you need to start with something. But when you get into real life, it's a little different, let's just say. I think David was telling me on the way, it's always money in your pocket, and that's how you need to start up, is really with the money in your pockets. So I started this business 15 years ago already. It's 1999. And not to mention, I had started another one beforehand, which unfortunately did not end well. I've always been more into consumer products than anything else. Nothing technological, nothing scientific. Always been really consumer products. My first project I had developed, I was a skier. I skied racing and everything, so I had developed a shin pad for when you do slalom. So I had developed actually here in that course. And on my first job that I got, the name of the company is Camoplast. They used to be plastic molders. So I was there for about 3 years, and I learned about plastic molding and design work because there was a whole design department. So that was a really, really good teacher for me. I was there for 3 years. I learned how to make costing as well. So I learned about plastic. I learned about making my costs in that manufacturing plant. I also learned how to market things. Obviously, I was a sales rep in that company, so I got to touch a lot of the things. I got to touch about production, pricing, and everything else. So I can honestly say that the best learning I did right after school when I got that job for about 3 years. And I saw real opportunities, real market opportunities while I was at that company. You know, there were, when you're a sales rep, you go into the company and a lot of people will say, well, can you make this, can you do that? And obviously the company I was working for was kind of a very stable company, and it's hard to start new things in these enterprises. So I got a few of these ideas there. So the shin pad came out from that job I had. And actually, they were making it in that time. They were making the shin pads for me, and I was selling them on my own. So that's the first company I started. And just to give you a bit of experience, it lasted about 1.5 years and did a major mistake in the packaging of that product, which we market the product. I had sold it to a chain store called Sports Authority. Unfortunately, the product got in stores and the packaging had broken in transport. So all the problems came after that. We had to recall the product, repackage. And we were pretty much out of breath after that and said, okay, we better call it quits before it gets worse. So that was my first business startup experience. Not a fun one. we had to, we didn't go under per se. We paid everybody we had to pay and finished it off like that. It took a few more years before I got into this business, which is called Smart Tiles, like he was saying. Again, not anything that's really close, that was extremely close to me. It was just an opportunity. We had just bought a new house. We were building it. And we had, our contractors told us, hey, you have to find tile that you're going to put on your backsplash. And we thought, oh, listen, if I choose tile today, I'm going to be stuck with it for the next 15 years. And, you know, I like to change things at a more rapid pace than 15 years. So I say, the issue was, so we're going to be stuck with it for so long. How come there's nothing in there out in the market that can be done fast? And in a couple of years, you're sick of it, you can remove it. There was nothing on the market as such. So we started, obviously with my plastics background, we started developing a tile that was self-adhesive. And obviously I'm showing you this product because this is the product that we currently have. We used to have, 15 years ago when we started up, it used to be a 4x4 tile that was self-adhesive. So that's the initial product we started with. And we spent probably around a year developing it. It was, the tricky part was finding the actual method of making it. And it just so happened at the same period I was buying a car, and the salesman asked, would you like to have a fake wood backsplash? And I said, oh, okay, yeah. Can you show that to me? And the sales rep comes with me, and it's a wooden imitation of a self-adhesive piece. And it's got a really, really thick coating on it that's quite glossy. And I look at it, I say, where is that made in? He says, it's made in Montreal. I said, really? So can I get the name of the company? And that's how we started. I went to Montreal, visited the company that was making that wood imitation panel, and that was our way of producing this tile. And that's 15 years ago. That's how we started. We sat down with the guy in Montreal, and we said, well, can you make squares with that? Can you print any color you want? And he said, yeah. So that's how we started. We really loved this way of startup because we did not invest anything. The guy was a subcontractor for us. So I had a partner back then that would design all our tiles. She was an artist, so she would actually design the tiles. In those days, designs on the tiles were really popular. Today, there's none of that anymore, but in those days, that was the case. So she would design everything. We'd scan, numerize everything, and have it printed, and he would do the tile, the actual tile. The actual product that we coat it with is a specially formalized resin that we've developed over the time. In those days, we didn't know a thing about resins, because they're soft resins, they're not like the plastic I used to know. So basically we went on, and for a full year, actually the first, I would say probably the first 2-3 months, we exchanged quite a bit with that guy. He made samples out for us, and about 6 months later we had designed a whole assortment, if you wish. I think we had 10 little designs that we had in tiles, and we knocked on Renault depots. I don't know if you are at all familiar with Renault Depot in Montreal. We knocked on their door and made a presentation. The guy just loved it instantly, and I have to say that was the only and first and only time which a buyer bought on the spot. But the guy bought on the spot. He gave us a vendor agreement. Renault Depot had 9 stores in those days, which to us was a big deal. And he said, we'd like to have your products into 2 stores to start up. And that's how it got started. So September 99 was when we all met with the Montreal guy, and by August of the next year, we were in 2 Renault Depot stores. Basically, that's how it started. It was pretty neat. Within the first week, we had repeat orders. So it wasn't a big deal for us. We had a fax at home, and that's all we needed. We'd get the orders through our fax machine in those days. Today, it's a little more complicated. Some of these big chain stores, they will order by fax, but today it's all done electronically. So I don't know if somebody new came in and you weren't registered to do electronic, they probably would fax in an order. I don't know what it is today, but so that's how it all started. We had decided at the time that I was burnt a little bit with my previous experience, so I decided that for at least 2 years, we would not invest anything but our own time. So we really started this company up with minimal investment other than our own time and gas money and, the things we had to pay with. The guy we partnered with in Montreal was extremely generous as well. He made us all the samples. He did everything without charging us. So that was a really good and nice deal to start up. So that was really the initial part of our business. After a year and a half, we're getting into that little curve down. The supplier we had was not very meticulous in his production ways, so he was doing a lot of reject. At one point, he changed his resin. Within 2 days, it had turned terribly yellow. So the first year and a half was extremely, we learned a lot in those 2 years about chemicals, because these were all chemicals. All the inks, there's lots. I mean, you see this, it looks like just a self-adhesive sticker or something, but there's a lot to it technologically. So there's a lot of details into it, which makes it hard to copy. It's nice because it took a lot of time for people to copy us, actually. It's only been the second year now, after 15 years, that we've had people copying us. A recent copy from China came in about 2 years ago, and then they had major problems, and they went back probably to the drawing board. It took another year for them to come back with a copy. So there's a lot to it. Even though it looks very simple, there's a lot to this product. So that was the first few years. Had issues with the supplying end of things. So we decided eventually, when we noticed that there was a market for this product, to actually buy some equipment ourselves to start controlling better the quality of our products. So within about 2 years, we had our own equipment. We had rented a very 2,000 square foot area and hired our first employee to start manufacturing this. Anybody have question on the startups? Well, you do expect it today, for sure. Actually, one thing I should mention is we were not able to have a patent on this product. Okay, whether we wanted it or not, there was no way. The procedure, the manufacturing way of things already existed. We just, instead of making a wood panel, we just made a square. And instead of making it look like wood, it was yellow, it was blue, or it was whatever. So there was no technological advancement in manufacturing this product, initially, for sure. The second phase, because the tile we initially started with was a 4x4, and then we moved to the little mosaics here. Now there is quite a step in how to make that from the previous, but there are two things. First, we couldn't have a patent, but even if we had been able to put a patent in, you always have to, if somebody infringes on your patent, you have to fight the thing. And to fight it, you need a lot of money. So, and the major issue today is the fact that a lot of the copies come from China, and China does not respect many patents. So if you try and go after them, usually you can't even find them. And if you find them, then the next day they're closed in and moved to another area. So it's really, 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 really almost impossible, at least for a small company like us, to defend your patent. So we really decided not to get into that. Well, I guess it really depends also on the on how easily protected, how you can, because sometimes they can change just a little bit of something from the product and then the patent no longer applies. So it really depends on the complexity of the product. If you look at Velcro, I mean, Velcro was so unique in its own way that I think they could really be protected from that. But then again, Velcro must have been done, what, 1920s or something? 1930s?
I think the patent expired about 10 years ago.
10 years ago, but they were able to protect themselves for all that time. So I guess it depends also how technological your project is and if it can be bypassed. So, but from my perspective on such a simple product, I mean, we can't even, we couldn't even patent the designs. I mean, it really, because for example, if we eventually we wanted to patent this type of application, because to make this, it's very different than the 4x4 tiles, and we couldn't even do that. I mean, they could even do the exact same colors and just change the pattern into which they're laid out on here, and it's still, the copyright no longer even applies. So it's really, really tough to protect yourself. I think today you have to be fast on the market, and that's the only key, and make as much money as you can very early in these stages, which is not an easy thing to do either, because buyers are not as open as they used to be. It takes a long time to get things in. We eventually did grow into Rona. We went into Home Depot, Canada. As we go along, you learn about all the different business practices of this type of industry, because I used to be in the clothing at Camoplast and in the plastic. Every little industry is a little different. So, you know, as you go into this new business, you do learn about all the industry's practices, which is all a learning process. At the same time, we were learning about manufacturing this product, hiring new people. We had about 5 employees at that time within a couple of years. So lots and lots and lots of things to learn during those early years. And unfortunately, for till about 2004, we were very focused on learning all these things and kind of did not see the change in design coming. So being focused on manufacturing, being focused on dealing with the buyers and everything else, and manufacturing, there was a major shift in decor. So it went from the little country type of decor to the more contemporain, what would that be? More modern designs. And we sort of missed that turn. And so that's when the really curve down came in 2004. From our business standpoint, our sales were going down. So we were going up all through those years, so 1999 to 2004, 2005, and then all of a sudden the sales starts to go down. Well, for sure we weren't offering what the customer wanted. So at that point, you start reflecting on what's going on. We were lucky enough to have seen Walt Disney opportunity where they were looking out for franchisees. They were licensees, I mean. So licensees, Walt Disney, they don't manufacture everything you see on the market. They actually build a brand. So Walt Disney is a big brand. What they do is they do all the drawings, they do all the movies, that's for sure. But all the products is licensed to manufacturers. So if we were a tile manufacturer, what we did is went to see Walt Disney in Toronto, because they have a Toronto office and they have a California office. And we said, we can make tiles under the Walt Disney brand. And they thought the idea was very original, and they gave us a license to use everything Disney on our tiles. So that was a good opportunity. We built that till 2004 till about 2010. And another great school. To work with Walt Disney was really, really amazing. First of all, it's impressive for anyone that's been looking up to such a huge, dynamic company. We were able to go to California to see how they create their new movies, how they create new designs. In that area, in those times, it was the times of Hannah Montana, which I'm sure you've heard before. So it was High School Musical, Hannah Montana, and all these guys, and we made tiles under all these labels. So it was really interesting. We were selling them to Home Depot primarily, was our client for Disney. So that period, which was a bit of a slump for our regular tiles, the Disney license really got us taking off at that period. So it's important to be always looking out for new opportunities, because you never know. The market shifts quite fast, especially when you're in decor. It was really hard at one point to keep up with Disney, and we had some other kids product that we developed at the time that was also, we were actually making more money off our own stuff than the Disney stuff at that period. So we decided to let go of the Disney license in 2010. You have to understand how, I can tell you a little bit on how licensing works. What they do is they supply all artwork, logos, Winnie the Poohs, all the images, everything is available online for us to access, to go and pick all the images and then create our tiles. They do that. They charge us a fee of about 15 to 18%, depending on the actual character that we used. And so on all our sales, we have to report monthly to them. And on all sales, we give them a check of 18%. So that's basically how it works. They communicate with us about 3, 4, or 5 times a year, where we have to go to their launching. You know, if they're launching a new movie, they invite us all to go and visit and get a peek. Because obviously, if they're coming out with a Cars movie in the summertime, then we have to get all the products out for, you know, everything comes out at the same time. So the movie and all the products come out on the same time. So we always get a peek prior. If you look in stores, if you're going to buy I don't know if they sell those anymore, but the wallpaper borders, for example, they're always, the Disney, everything that's licensed will always be primed about that 15 to 20% more. One of the main reasons why we dropped the license is because we had there was a wallpaper company in Toronto that we obviously stole quite a bit of business from them. They were in Home Depot, they had a 4-foot section. We took over half that section, and they must have gotten pretty upset. They had been a licensee at Disney for the longest time, and they really did complain. And one of the new buyers in California at one point said to us, well, you got to shrink your line. You can't expand. We wanted to expand. We were doing well. And at one point she said, no, you got to shrink your line. I said, what do you mean we got to shrink our line? Well, first of all, you can't go out of shape. It's got to be a 4x4. You can't get out of that shape. And they said, no more than, I think we had 4 characters. We had Winnie the Pooh, we had Mickey, Hannah Montana, another one. And they wouldn't even give us anything else. So at one point, it wasn't, we sort of figured we couldn't expand, and we pulled out. We had some other products that were doing even better and than the Disney. So yeah, competition is as fierce there as it is on the shelves. That saved us financially for a good portion of that period for us. It was a tough time. At the same time, we really had to reflect on where we were going as a company, because obviously we started in '99. It must have been about 5 years now that we were there. So then we had to develop something that would be better in the market that we currently have. Have to understand that the 4x4 tile, people would buy it only to go over existing tiles. So let's say you had a backsplash that had a really nice tile with a nice flower, you wanted to hide that. You would buy a pack of 4 or 5 or 8 tiles, and you would spend probably $20 on our tiles, and that would be it. The magic thing with this new product is that the objective of this product is to cover this whole, to make a whole backsplash. It took us about 2 years to develop this product. There is a bit of technology in here. To make our 4x4 tile, it was easy. You would pour the resin over the piece that was cut out. The resin magically stops on each edge. You just can't overpour it. If you overpour, it falls off the edges. It's not a molded piece. It's gel that's poured on, okay? Now what's neat about this product, and what's very different than the initial production, is that you've got a sheet here, and all the pieces are all stuck together. You've got the grout all integrated. Now we had to figure that out. We worked with our resin manufacturer to be able to develop a chemical that would make the grout and would restrain the resin to the little squares that are here. Okay? So we worked with them a couple of years and work with our printing technology in order to apply this before we apply the resin. I know it's hard for you guys maybe to comprehend this without seeing the manufacturing process. So there was a bit of more work in here to reach this type of product. We finally succeeded in 2009. So time moves fast, as you know, and obviously we don't have the means and the dollars to hire big scientists to do it, so you sort of do it with the times. And we finally came up with this. I have to say, this is good partnership. We work real hard with the manufacturer of our resin, and we work real hard with our printing partner, because we're not the printing guys. We are, as a company, the ones that apply that gel on top. So our expertise is really into that. It's in the print, but we're not the actual printer, okay? So we came out with this in 2009, and the Chinese copy came out in 2013. So I'm kind of proud of that, because it took them a while to get it going. And I tell you, usually China takes, how long China takes to copy something? Oh, it's so fast. They work 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's overnight. It's overnight. So it really took them a while to get this going. So, but unfortunately, they're here. So they have started stealing pretty good margins from us now in the last year and a half or so. They've really, they stole Home Depot Canada from us. So about 85 stores they stole from us in Canada. And it's really unfortunate because the product is very cheap. You stick it on your wall and it falls down, depending on the type of paint you have. So it's really not good. We have, you know, we've gone through lots of stages within the company where you have, because I think the product curve today has really shortened. I haven't done a study on this, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the lifespan of products today, it really has shortened from what it's been in the last 30 years. Well, this is, I can tell you for sure, it's home decor. So this is short. This is fairly short. Within 12 months, I mean, you have a design that's really working really well, and then it's completely out. You know, it really cuts through fairly fast. Well, it's you try and keep it up, obviously. We've hit a stage today, at least. It's interesting because we do have 60 employees working at our manufacturing plant. We do everything here in Canada, but till 3 years ago, we were up to 26 people. So when we had to hit the U.S. market, and that's when we hit. Really, we were able to really change our company. What I was saying earlier is when we used to make the little tiles, the sale per consumer was about $20. Today, it's more around $75 per client, because when you use this type of tile, you do your whole backsplash. So on average, people have about 15 square foot. That's about 20 tiles, 22 tiles per client. So our market, which used to be this, now is that much, 3 times bigger, which is interesting for us. Had we not gone into this type of product, we would no longer be in business because there wasn't such a huge market for it. So now it's really interesting to have hit this type of product that made the market much larger. Where was I leading with this? By the way, this is how it's merchandised in the stores. This is a new, more recent packaging that we developed about a year ago. People were complaining how flimsy it looked, so we added cardboard in the back to make it feel a little more rigid. So it's interesting. You might want to. This product, unfortunately, falls right between 2 seats. Does it go into flooring department or does it go in home decor department? Well, we haven't been really able to answer that. Unfortunately, after 15 years, it's still a huge debate, depending on the chain store. At Lowe's, because we sell to Lowe's in the U.S. and Canada, at Lowe's, we sell to the flooring department. So we sell it right next to real mosaic tiles. And then in Home Depot, we sell it in the decor department.
So it's durable enough for flooring? You walk on it?
No, it's just the name of the department. It's a wall tile, exclusively wall tile. So, well, again, China has really got into the mosaic type tile in the market right now. You could have very close to this same look, and I'm talking look because it's going to be real tile. You can have it for $4.99, and we're currently retail at $7.99 per tile. So we're much more expensive. Now the concept is the fact that you simply peel and stick it. Once it's on your wall and you don't get that flimsy look because it's stuck to the wall, it looks just like tile. It's very, very, when it's well installed, it's pretty impressive. But you don't have to buy a saw to cut the tile. You can just, you need to go around a electrical outlet. You just cut it out. You do it yourself. Couple hours, it's done. It's not dirty. You probably don't have houses yet where you've done tile, but I tell you, it's a heck of a mess. It's really, really a mess. So this is a great feature that we have to tell people that, you know, if they do it with real tile, this is a problem. This is what you're going to meet. And with this, that you don't. So in the end, there is a cost saving. Everything we do right now is web. So 2 years ago, I would have told you we can't sell online because our clients are going to scream and shut us off. That's no longer the case. Right now, we have an online tool where boutique, you can buy everything online. And Facebook, we have Twitter account, Pinterest. We came here and worked with some of your students a couple of years back and discussed quite a bit media, social media, and now we're very well organized. We have 2 people full-time just working on social media in our company. So that's really how we try and do it. Because advertising in magazines, it's really expensive. Yeah, and repetition in magazine is really the key if you want to get your message out there. So we can do it once or twice, but it's not enough to really get in the market. We try and pop an article about every week that will talk about home decor. So the objective in SEO, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with the term, the SEO, is really how Google rates your website. And it goes through words, and it scans through everybody's website. I don't know what the frequency is, but that's what they do. So the sites that are most active get the higher quotes. And what's a quote basically is when somebody types in keywords that are like peel and stick tile or tiles or bathroom or backsplash tiles. When people type that in, the higher rated your website is, the higher it's going to come out in the search engines. That's how basically it works. So it's important that your website is always active. And we do that by creating articles. We also have a lot of links with bloggers. So a lot of bloggers out there will phone us up, will say, can we try your product? We'll make a report out of it. And so we link all these bloggers to our website. That also creates activity on our website. I would think the superheroes of SEO are the radio chains like Rouge FM. I don't know if you know but these guys, you know, when they say call us up, go on our website, this is all to create activity so their website gets really well rated. I don't know why but they're kings in that. Every time everybody just says visit our website, go there, I've put this interview there, go and see, It's just to create a better SEO. That's what they do. Yeah, we sell to France and, well, actually Europe right now. We have logistics, warehousing in France that permits us to ship. And actually, a year ago, we made the decision as a company that for us, the web is really the future. And because our clients like Home Depot and Lowe's are really, really tough on us, we figure that, you know, if in a year or 2 years or 6 months from now, they would decide to kick us out because a competition is cheaper or whatever. As a company, we made it a priority for us to go web. So last year we built our own online boutique, and in France we pulled all our product from in stores. We had about 45 stores, a chain store called Leroy Merlin in France, and we pulled everything from the stores. We're selling web only. So we're really in a learning process right now, and we're doing that learning process in France because we didn't want to jeopardize any of our clients here in North America. So it's a whole learning process right now for marketing. It has affected it quite a bit, and we've been screaming to the buyers because it's mind-boggling that you have buyers making decision on products like these that will, you will spend $100, $125 on tiles that you will take 2 hours to install, and 2 days later you have half of it fallen down. They know that. They know that, but they still take the price, and it's mind-boggling that a buyer would do that, but they do it. And I mean, there's some items that, yeah, the quality is not there, but it still does the work. There's some items that it doesn't matter. But if you have this on your wall and half of it's sticking off, I mean, it's not even a usable product. My only mandate this year is to work on my branding. So these other companies don't have customer service. We have 5 people on customer service that answer the phone, answer emails, work on Facebook, work on Twitter every day. That's what they do. We get calls every week by people thinking they're buying smart tiles, because what they do is they go on the web, first they buy this stuff, they stick it on, and they're really dissatisfied. So what they do is they go on the web and type peel and stick tiles. And our name comes out first because we've done our work with the SEO, and our name comes out first, and they phone us up. And they tell us the problem, and obviously automatically, we guarantee, by the way, our product. It's like written this big on our website. When you get there, it says we guarantee it to stick, otherwise we replace everything, okay? We never have issues. We've had this adhesive for the last, since 2004. We've never had issues, so we really back up our product. So when they phone in and they say it's fallen down, we tell them, did you look at what's on the package? And it says stick it. Stick it is that Chinese copy. And what we're doing, and I think we should finalize this in the next weeks, now we're going to offer a replacement program, 50% off if you can. One, under 2 conditions. They have to take down the product they bought. They have to bring it back to Home Depot, because Home Depot is the one that is making it. They have to return it back and write in a review on how happy they were. So, and then they have to, if they come and buy ours, we'll give them 50% off. So that's within the next week. So this is some of the actions we're going to do in order to, but it's hurting. It's really hurting our brand. That's for sure. Life. So literally, I mean, if you stick it on, it's going to stay on. If it's going to fall, because sometimes people will not clean their wall properly, if you got a lot of grease from cooking on the wall, you stick it on without cleaning it, then it may fall, for sure. But it doesn't happen. We have less than, I think we have 0.067 in returns. We have no returns, literally. And once it's on the wall and it hasn't unstuck for the first 48 hours, it's never going to unstick until you decide to unstick it. Is really a behavior study, because every buyer, some are interested in numbers only, some are interested in the product only. You really have to know who you're addressing yourself. So you build your presentation according to their expectations. So to know their expectations is not easy, but it usually takes at least 3 meetings to get things going. That's a norm, though. You go and meet up, and you know, it's the same thing with anybody you meet in your regular life. It really does take at least 3 meetings to know where it's going. And for you to learn the person, some are real poker faces. You'll never know what they're thinking. Some, and I would think in the buyer category, the poker faces are pretty much 60–70% of these buyers are really not very transparent. But other than that, some are very numerical. If you come to the business meeting and what, you know, sometimes what we say to them, this will turn 6 times during the year. You know, your product can talk in numbers. So some buyers are really receptive to these numbers. Surprisingly enough, some aren't. We have a very colorful product, so it's easy when you get a buyer that's interested in decor. You automatically see it, because then they go with the book and they start looking at all the things. So that's an easy buyer usually when you get these more emotional type of buyers. So there's all types, really. They're there to make money. So you have to prove to them they'll make money with your product.
So you use actual numbers based on history and present that case. Invest here, you get that.
But just to give you a comparison, the comparison I did to him in store, I said, as an example, you're buying our tile at $5. You're selling it at 10. You're making $5, right? So every tile you sell, you make $5. He was putting in my face the fact that he was going to sell the Chinese copy at $6. Okay? And I imagine he's taking 50%, so he's probably paying $2.99 or something, like $3, right? So I said to him, you're making $3 every tile you sell. You're making $5 off of mine. How many more are you going to have to sell of that Chinese tile to make it worthwhile, right? So I forget what the number is, but I remember clearly it was 33% more he had to sell just to equivalent our numbers, just to be breaking even. So if he wanted to make even more money, then he'd have to be over 30% more. Speaking of big, huge chains, Home Depot Canada and Home Depot US, everything goes into the US, right? But the buyers have different mandates. So we deal with them in Home Depot Canada, and we deal with another one in the US. Now, a year and a half ago, the US side decided to put us head-to-head with that Chinese copy as well in their stores. So we got into 400 stores in the US, and they put Stick-It into 100 stores. That's about a year and a half ago. So they're telling us, obviously, we're moving into a more permanent spot. So they chose us to move into a permanent spot. So we're kind of guessing that they like us better, but they're not really telling us all that much about it. So Stick-It is still in the US, apparently, into 100 stores, and we're about 600 now. So we're really moving up. But they're keeping him, I'm sure, to really negotiate our pricing. So that's another of their strategy, is obviously they want to negotiate us, and that's how they're going to do it. That's another buyer's tactic. You know, when you start something up, it's your baby, so you do like to touch about everything. Saying that, I have to say the reason of our success is mainly the fact that I've been successful at finding the right partners as well. So I do touch everything, but I do have a lot of people now helping me in every areas as a business. It was about time that I did that, because at one point you touch everything, but you're certainly not good at everything. So at a certain point, it's important to go and get the right people to do and concentrate on the tasks. It's crucial, but it's not essential. So basically, I pretty much jumped from going to 2 people to 60 employees, but there's lots of ups and downs during that time. Lots of financial issues. At one point, my accountant told me about 3 times, you need to shut this down, it's going nowhere, blah, blah, blah. We were working on this new tile, so we kept going. We sort of knew we were holding something. But there was really some hard times. In 2008, 2007, 2006, it was really, really a hard time. But we hung in there because we knew we had something coming that was quite incredible. I have to say, and I was telling David on my way in, I think we've really reached a mature market right now. Really, really mature. I had an objective last year was to create new products. One thing I think we as a company have really established is the relationship with our retailers. So we are a company that are listed as a vendor at Home Depot, at Lowe's. We are listed in BMR, all the companies in Canada, Home Hardware, I just said BMR, there's Kent Supply out west, Co-op Fédéré, name it, we're there. We're everywhere today. The only client we need to add in is Menards in the US. Do It Best, we're there. Orgill, these are all big buying groups. We're really today everywhere. So this to us today is a great value. We've just added this year a company that makes, it's a rock laminated panel that we have integrated into our sales pitch that we'd like to have. It's a 2 feet by 4 feet panel that's really, really thin, but it's actual rock. It's done in India. And it's all being sold right now in specialized markets, and we want to introduce it to Lowe's and Home Depot. So we are venturing into new things that are completely not in this sector, but we will just be a distributor of it, if you wish. So our contacts into these big boxes today is going to probably open up to new opportunities for us. What's going to happen with tiles? And I seem very weird by saying what's going to happen with tiles, but it's true. Things do change really rapidly, so it's very important to us. You know, there are 60 people working on this every day. I sort of like to step out of the daily routine, and I do like to think ahead and try and bring up new things. We also have a new product that I haven't brought in because it's still quite a little secretive, but it's a new product that goes for the home. It's a self-adhesive product, and I have one objective is to bring it into Target in the US. We've been listed into Target before with our kids' decor stuff, that it didn't work well in Target. So, but we still have a vendor number there, and we'd like to introduce a new product. And Target is a completely different category than the retailers we're currently in, so we want to diversify as well. So diversification at our stage is really, really crucial. So we're all in the quincaillerie type of stores. We need to get into department stores now to diversify. So that's one of our objectives as we reach a mature market right now. And branding, as you were questioning, branding is also a very important focus for us. I think as a company, we were able to find a niche in a product, and this is all things you need to think about when you'll be creating a new product. You may be doing a service as well, but I'm just talking about product, is the fact that we've been copied. We're lucky enough that the Chinese are not creative at all with regards to home decor. They copy. They can't come out with new designs themselves. So we're lucky enough to have fallen into that little niche, because what they're coming out with is really, really very ugly. While they imitate marble, and it looks very, very bad. So we're kind of lucky to have that little niche that we found, that it's home decor. They seem not to be so good in self-adhesive things either. I don't know, chemically they don't have the right adhesive. So hopefully, as a manufacturer here in Canada, we will survive this this attack from copies, but we don't know. We never know. Obviously, we are tempted. I'm tempted to think that companies are safe today, but they're not. It's not because you have 60 employees that you can't close in a year from now. And you think that we see a lot of articles lately that the manufacturers are coming back to North America, but not that fast. I have to say that I put pretty much my life on standby for almost 15 years. I do play around in the weekend for sure, but it's like having kids. It's like having a kid. It's on your mind all the time. Everything, wherever you go, you think about it. At least it was for me. I don't know how it is for others. But it's constant. But it's not a burden either. I'm starting to be a little tired of it, I have to say, but it's not a burden. You have to get it moving, and you just think about it all the time. It's there. It's there. So, and it's not a money thing. For me, at least, it wasn't a money thing. It was an achievement thing. You get up and go at it and just make the best of it every day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.